outside.
Love
He
you.
just looked at me and just clawed.
There you go.
Such
Have a
a
good night, buddy.
So we are live now. Hey guys, sorry. We had some technical challenges. I had to go update a link or two and redirect some stuff. So we are live on the fan page. And then that's whether or not Facebook is allowing it. Because let me just tell you, every once in a while, Facebook is not allowing some posts, some broadcasting, especially if it has a link. So let me just go reconfirm that we are actually live. Because it says we are.
Yep, I can see it. We're good.
Okay. All right. On the fan page. On my page or the fan page?
I think on the fan page. Yep, looks like.
Okay. All right. So we're live. Hi. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Summit. And tonight we're actually doing a live Q&A panel and also a live discussion. We're talking about retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And so our amazing special guests are Tony Mitchell with eCom Sellers and
Hey,
Bill
y'all.
Bennett with Balance Your FBA. And then we may also have Horace Lyons may drop in for about 30 minutes. And he is the working class hustler. I always keep wanting to say working man, but it's working class. So the four of us or the three of us are going to talk to you about retail arbitrage and online arbitrage and answer your questions. So here's how this works. I'm going to be checking the Facebook group and the fan page. If you have questions, type your questions in the chat. What is it that you want to cover? What is it that you want to discuss? And we'll go through it while we wait for people to type questions. We are going to actually, Tony has so many awesome stories because she's been out there RAing today. I already know that because she and I talked earlier. She has this amazing receipt. So I'm going to let Tony talk and see. Horace, he is the working class hustler. He is joining us on AOB. Man, hats off to you, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that's okay. We're waiting for people to type their questions. So I'm going to let Tony start because I do want everybody to have the opportunity. We're going to talk about RA and also on OA. But I want you guys first. I want Tony to tell her story, and then
Which
I want
one?
each one of you to think about how would you describe retail arbitrage and online arbitrage to a new person. So Tony, the floor is yours. I'm going to let you have it first.
Okay, which story do you want me to tell? The first one?
Girl, all of them. Just let them rip.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save the newest one for later on, but I'll just tell
Okay.
y'all kind of, I am the most unorthodox sorcerer on the planet. Okay. I will just go and look and I like to shop. That's kind of my thing. And since I'm now retired, yay, from education, I can source more. But even before then, I was up there at 6 o'clock because where I live out in the boondocks, if you don't get out and get to work, you are going to be in traffic forever. And I might as well use that hour to shop and see what I can find. That's what I did every morning. Nicole, I would call Nicole, you need to go get this every day. Nicole would just like, oh, Tony. But so the other day, let's see, which one do I want to tell? I've been doing physical therapy, but again, because, and you don't have to go with me on this story, so you have to deal with it. Okay. So just understand as part of the deal, as part of the charm of my storytelling is you got to deal with it. So I went to physical therapy and I was leaving physical therapy and I didn't turn the way to go to the Walmart near the physical therapist. I went down the long way on Lebanon, which is out. I live above Frisco, but I was in Frisco. And I just happened to go to this Walgreens. This Walgreens is kind of like one of those little ones. And I just thought, you know what, just stop in there for a minute, see what's up. I walk in. They are doing a complete store reset. I mean, they have got so much stuff marked down. It is unreal. And so I was getting free stuff. I mean, like L'Oreal, because I'm ungated in beauty. And so L'Oreal foundations, I was getting them for free. Powders, blushes, all that sealed. I'm very particular about the dates and all that because they had in their little coupon book buy, let's see, $3 off foundation, $1 off eyeshadow. So Had those plus all my coupons I had loaded on there. I had 800. Let's see, they told me on my first receipt I saved over $800.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty exciting. That was a couple weeks ago. And then I go back in there. I go a couple times. I even went today. And I'll be quite honest, I did get, um, let's see, 6 or 7, like 10. I don't know. I don't remember. I saved $10 because I had a $10 coupon loaded on my thing. So I paid for 6 items, 6 or 7, $15. And it was all foundations. I was, it was Revlon. So I was happy about that. What else did I find? I found old people, because I'm of the age that they start marketing that stuff too. The Depends and stuff. They had those big things of them, like this one right here. This size right here. Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
It's kind of blurry because I got that background blurry. Anyway, these were going for $5.39.
Wow.
$5.39. Now I had coupons on top of it, of course, because and then of course I got points from Fetch. Couldn't help, got to do all that. Got to do all my little things to get extra stuff.
Tony, don't let that make you lazy. Don't let that make you lazy.
What do you mean? I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy. Do my Ibotta, do my Fetch, I do my coupons.com. In fact, I got $18 from coupons.com from that trip. I had 2 more trips, and I kept going, I should be getting some money. And sure enough, bam, $750, bam, $450, bam. I mean, it was just like, I was like, woo, rolling in the money. Okay, so that was my Walgreens, and I keep going in there, and let's see, and on that trip I got a $5 coupon back. I was in Walmart, another one of my things, and again, I'm spoiled because we have got so many Walmarts around here. Just within a 15-mile radius is Stonebrook, 423, Prosper, Crossroads. I could count Preston Road. What, 5, 6?
We got a lot. We got a lot. But yeah, we got a lot.
Okay, so I'm very spoiled. And, several of them are resetting right now. And the one, 423, has always been a friend of mine because I buy a lot of stuff there. I found clothes for $1, and I have resold those for 40 plus, like the Wranglers and stuff like that. Dickies are my new thing. I love Dickies pants because especially the large men stuff, because they move. Because I asked a friend of mine, I said, why does the plus size stuff and the large men? She goes, Tony, nobody knows where it is. Nobody can find it. So that's kind of been one of my niches I started getting into was the plus size stuff because it moves. Get it for real inexpensive, and then I sell it for a decent profit. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so I'm getting a little excited about that. Let's see, where was I going with that Walmart? Okay. But the one of my trips for physical therapy, I think it was the same day that I went to the Walgreens the first time, because I went there a lot. I had a lot of points, so let's do it that way. I found, and I haven't even showed Nicole this one, okay? I hadn't even told her. She's going to cry. I know she is.
Lord.
It's a good one.
The fact that you saved $800 is just bananas at a Walgreens. Saving $800 at a Walgreens is just bananas. Like, that's crazy. Like, Brooke, you have to admit that's kind of a little crazy. At a Walgreens, saving $800?
Those receipts are already long. I'd be afraid to see the receipt after that.
Oh, that receipt is as long as it's like 66 inches. I'm not kidding. It's taller.
It's not longer.
I'm not kidding. Okay, so one of my other things I've been doing lately is trying to catch all the stuff at Walmart, like Christmas stuff, that's marked down to like 90% they forgot about. I'm a big fan of forgetting stuff. Well, I just happened to find, and I'm going to get up and go get it. I'm sorry. I have to show this. Nicole's going to be very sad.
So she's probably talking about hidden clearance. So while she's pulling that, I was just going to tell Horace, we put you on mute because we could hear your rig for just a second, and we couldn't hear Tony. So I just put you on mute for just a second. All right. So go ahead. What did you find?
98 cents.
What?
Buddies. These were like $10 retail, and they were on different platforms going for 20 plus. I got it for 98 cents.
98 cents.
Oh yeah, and it's that pop thing. Pop the horn. These are the new kind with the pop thing going on.
Those are what Hallmark ornaments. Is that right?
Yes.
So I'll tell you, my brother buys a lot of the Hallmark ornaments and sells it all the way through the year. Like buys it. Like, You like what you're talking about there? Just he buys it and just sells it. Even a lot of times, is merchant fulfilled and just makes a ton of profit off those.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is one thing. That's another thing I told Nicole last year. I said, Nicole, there's an ornament you need to get. She ignored me.
I did not ignore you. I did not ignore you.
You didn't
Last
believe me.
year, I believed you. I was incapacitated. Okay.
That was last year, not this year, but last year. Okay.
Oh, the year before
2020,
last.
you were not incapacitated in 2020.
I was not incapacitated the prior year.
You know that Nintendo, the first generation Nintendo ornament they had last year?
Yeah, that was I remember.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yep, that's crazy. Brooke, do you remember that one?
I was on top of that one. I was on top of it. I got it from Kohl's, 30% off coupons. They were coming to my house. I mean, OA. I literally bought them out. I mean, every time I was turning around, I was buying from Kohl's. And this year I did the same thing. I didn't get as good a profit this year, but that's all right. I mean, I still made a decent profit, but not what I wanted.
Oh my gosh.
Those are going to go up. Let's see those. And then I found some of the red and green icings for 50 cents, those Wilton icings, and the sprinkles for 10 cents, kind of like that. And then, let's see, today, that's what Nicole is very salty about today. She just not going to get over it. Okay, because Saturday, was it Saturday? When did I go? I'm looking at all my Walmart receipts here. I have to look at it because I have them on my phone. All right, so on the 18th, was that Friday or Saturday?
The 18th was Friday.
Okay, on Friday. Friday, I guess I'm looking at probably Friday afternoon, Friday morning, maybe Friday at lunch. I went over to Walmart and I was like, all right, they finally put the scrubs, those Valentine scrubs, for 75% off because they won't be around at 90. I know they won't be. So I bought like 7 or 8. My husband handles the eBay stuff because I haven't even looked lately to see if FBA is doing them now. And I, bought those and, I thought it was doing real good. Found a Christmas tree Wilton kit. Those will sell. They'll sell. They'll be great. I go this morning after PT and I go to the Walmart over on Stonebrook. They have 4 of them for $1.69 each. I was very excited. And then, as Nicole is getting even more sassy with me now, but I did send her the receipt so she could see it. My daughter lives in Sherman, so I went up to see her, and of course took her to lunch, that kind of thing. And I said, well, we have to go to Walmart because anytime I go out of any other town, I have to go to Walmart. I have to look. I have to go through. I didn't go to Walgreens this time. I'm going to have to go up and dog sit this week. I'm going up to Walgreens. I'm going to go see CVS. I'm going to just kind of do the rounds. They're Kroger. But I got all the books, all the Valentine books that were left over for 90% off. Okay. And I got, and this is the thing I'm very excited about. All those icing pouches, the pink and the white ones, the Betty Crocker. I got them for 30 cents each.
That's good.
So I was very excited about that. I didn't have a coupon for it, but I was pretty excited. Oh, and I found the eyeballs, the Wilton eyeballs and the Polident mouth guard. Because apparently I'm also kind of lazy. So I look at somebody else's listing and then I jump on it because every time I do one, they tell me I didn't do it right or whatever. And somebody's got the Polident Pro Guard, mouth guard, toothpaste, the 3-step thing. And CVS has got that stuff marked down 75% off now. So it's like $2 and something. But this Walmart had the toothpaste, and this toothpaste is good until 2023 because I checked the dates on them, and it was 99 cents. So I'm trying to get I've got enough for about 5 bundles so far, and I'm going to get a couple more to, have about 7 or 8 bundles just to have it on hand and, kind of go there. And then my other thing.
So you're just piggybacking off of an existing bundle that's already out there.
Did you see this candy? My Black Forest candy. I found it at Target yesterday. I found 84 bags of it. I was so excited.
Black Forest candy. Okay.
It kind of tastes kind of weird, but people are buying it. I mean, it's like, got to get a very good rank. And you know what? Again, I've learned, doesn't matter what I like. If people like it, I'm going to buy it and sell it. That's just how it goes.
That's how it goes. So are those Polidents, are they on a bundle? It's an existing bundle?
Yes.
Okay.
They're in a bundle. They're going to be in a bundle. I took a screenshot, but I'll find it again. But it's like an $18 bundle. I mean, it's not that great, but there's also a rebate on some of that stuff. So I just kind of was like, I'll go ahead and do it. Because I also, what else did I get? I got some, I used CVS coupon on the mouthwash and some other stuff. I mean, I got almost $100 worth of CVS for 55 yesterday, and I got $20 of extra care bucks back.
Okay. So Tony, so here's the deal for everybody that's watching, because we're going to cut over to Brooke here in a second.
Yeah, I need to stop talking. Okay.
Tony will tell you everything that she's found, and so which is awesome and amazing. She always finds all these deals. She buys 99% of her inventory below wholesale. 99% of it is below wholesale. So her margins are just banana amazing. I can't be mad at her. And if you ever get a chance to go shopping with her, you have to go shopping with her, because she's got like 9,000 apps on her phone. And she's enrolled in 9,000 programs. And so she will be like, okay, well, go. I remember going shopping with her, and she was like, I'll install this app, install this. Like, we're going into the store, and she's telling me which apps to install because she knows what we're about to buy. I need you to install this app, this app, this app. I'm like, okay, I already have enough apps. No, you need some more. You need these apps.
And she has still not installed Fetch. And I did. She has not done those receipts, and she buys a lot of that stuff every day. She is just letting money go out the window. She is just letting fly out. And she can either give me those receipts or she can daggum do them herself. Just saying.
Well, we're gonna talk about which apps you recommend, but first I'm gonna let Brooke tell us. Brooke, what would you tell people is retail arbitrage and what is online arbitrage, and just explain that. And then we will give Horace a chance. We know he's driving, but go ahead and explain. Well, he's in a truck. He's a truck driver, so he is driving a truck while we are talking. But will you explain to everybody what your understanding of what you define as retail arbitrage? Because we know what it is, but no, Brooke is going to explain it. Okay. So retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and then if you guys have questions in the background, please ask your questions in the chat, and we will be happy to answer them. So Brooke, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. For me, retail arbitrage is essentially going to a retail store, physically to a retail store, whether that be Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Home Goods, TJ Maxx. You get what I'm headed towards, and you are going to find items that you can purchase at a lower cost and resell them on a online marketplace like Amazon, Walmart, Shopify, places like that. Online arbitrage is very similar, except it is online, right? So you're going to go to websites like Walmart.com, Target.com. There's so many others, but that's just two off the top of my head. And you're going to look for items, again, that you can buy at a lower cost and resell them on websites like Amazon, Walmart, all that good stuff. I do a ton of Amazon to Amazon and Walmart to Walmart flips myself. So that, in your basic definition, that's essentially what we're finding, items that we can buy at a lower cost and selling them for a higher cost on those marketplaces to make a profit. So that's the easiest breakdown.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now let me just see if Horace, I'm going to unmute you, Horace, so you don't have to do anything extra. So is there anything you want to, now don't crash into anybody, but is there anything that you want to add to that before I put you back on mute for a second regarding retail arbitrage and online arbitrage that you would like people to know?
I think he pretty much covered it. That's pretty much essentially what it is. The only thing that I would like to add, because I'm always thinking and getting deep into this, what I've noticed, because you guys know, most of us know, there are different ways to sell on Amazon, and arbitrage just happens to be the way that we like to do it. But there are other ways you can do it. I've done other ways, and one thing I would like to say about arbitrage, it really teaches you, in my opinion, it teaches you more about the entire market. I want all of the panelists right now to take a minute and think about how it changed the way you look just walking into a store. And no longer are you just looking at things, because everything you see is potential profit now. Have you noticed the dollar signs that pop up in your head? When you're looking at things, you're evaluating each and every possible thing, because there could be profit. That's different than wholesale. That's different than white labeling and private labeling. So for me, beyond just explaining what it is, I would like to give those who are thinking about this, I'd like to give them that insight. It's going to change the way you see the entire market, because when you do arbitrage, you don't know what you're going to end up selling, because everything is a potential profit. Anybody want to add to that?
I agree. It's like taking the blue pill or the red pill and walking into the store. Like your eyes, you see things differently. The world looks
everything you look at is a potential profit, and you're not necessarily stuck to in one category. You can go all over the place because there's money and potential profit all over the place with arbitrage. If you want a private label, that's great, but you're gonna a lot of times end up kind of pigeonholed there unless you have the capital to really expand. With arbitrage, you could literally list a product today and sell a product before you even get home. And I know you guys have had that happen, because you guys seem to be retail arbitrage. How many of you have listed a product and before you even get home it's sold? That's not going to happen with wholesale. That's not going to happen it certainly isn't going to happen with private label and white label, right?
Yeah. True. I mean,
it's different.
I tend to, I'm like you, Horace. My husband hates going to the store with me. He absolutely despises it. And Nicole can tell you, he is just, he'll send this text and it's like this, everything okay? Which is basically, get your butt home, okay? Get your butt home. And then
translate.
Going, are we shopping? We have enough stuff as it is. But no. Even when we were on, okay, I should show y'all what I bought when we were in Alabama. We were on our way to go see my father-in-law. I found, oh my gosh, at Belk, that's another place I like to go, Belk. I found these swim trunks for $15. I know that I'm going to sell them for $30 to $40. Okay. They're kind of scary. They're, young men like scary stuff. I got, a nice full bag here. And he just rolled his eyes. He's just like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. He could not believe I was still looking for stuff in Asheville, North Carolina. It blew his mind. But I'm with Horace. Everything is everything is game. Everything, everything. When I was bringing my daughter home from college a couple years ago, we were cleaning out that apartment. And you remember when I stopped at that Hallmark store and I found, and they sold me $100 ornament for $1, and I flipped it for over $100 like that next day.
The thing that the universe loves you. That's all I'm gonna say. The universe loves you because she will literally find things like, I could say, hey, Tony, I just left XYZ store. She will go back to the same store. I will have been on the same aisle, Brooke. And she will find something, or something will have just been marked down because she showed up. Like that.
You're still mad. Okay. What was it? It was the spring when I walked into that Walmart and they had marked down those Apple TVs that morning.
Yeah, you find all kinds of stuff. But anyway, Brooke has something to say. Go ahead, Brooke.
What I was going to say is just from a strategic standpoint. So something to think about here, guys. If you're new to us, or if you're new to RA and OA, and I know Horace knows where I'm going to go here. But the thing to think about when you're strategically going into a store, like Tony's talking about, she schedules times to go. You're always going to find bigger markdowns and bigger profitable value when you go into a store. And the reason is because stores, they get markdown money every Monday. My background is Walmart. I worked 10 years as a Walmart store manager. That's where I came from. So I can tell you, based off of, if you're looking for big markdowns, especially when it's toy clearance season or housewares clearance season, go into stores on Mondays and Tuesdays, because that's when those stores get their markdown dollars. And if you're going to go into bigger stores, like say, Tony has say that Stonebrook store is a $100 million Walmart. Guess what? They get more markdown money than your rural stores out in the middle of the country. That's just the way that it is, because they make more money at that store. They get more markdown dollars. So being strategic as to where you go, which stores you go to, what time of the day you go, and what day you go is huge. So you're going to get more value sometimes when it comes to retail arbitrage versus online arbitrage, understand that a lot of these companies like Walmart and Target, they have warehouses that are packed full of merchandise. So they may not mark it down as much as a store would trying to get rid of 12 versus when they have 10,000 of them sitting in a warehouse. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing. But for me, like I love finding deals like that, Tony. And if I didn't have two babies, I have a 10-month and a 4-year-old. It's very hard for me to be in stores as much as I used to be. So, I've transitioned a lot to the online arbitrage just because it's more consistent for me. And I can, I'm more of a replens model person. I like to buy stuff. I like to buy the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and keep selling that same stuff and making that consistent profit. That's how I earn my living. That's what I teach. That's what I teach my team. That's just what I do. But I love the different aspects because my brother, Tony, is exactly like you. He goes out and he finds these deals and he'll text me and I'm like, you're a dog, man. I can't find deals like that. But then I'll be like, hey, I bought 1,000 of this and I'm making this amount and this is what I'm going to make this month. And then he just looks at me and sends me the same look like, well, you're a dog for doing that. Well, everybody has their own method, right? And that's what I love about retail and online arbitrage is because you can make it work. Just like Horace said, you can make it work so many different ways and you can cater to your life. And that's what I love about what we do.
I mean, I still have like 10 or 15, things that are pretty steady eddies for me. After the pandemic, I started going really into consumables and health and beauty and that kind of thing. And, I do my little tours and I know that right now Kroger's got this deal. You spend $25, you get $10 back. Mm-hmm. So I know to buy 4 of these specific types of toothpaste and I will get it $10 off. So it's like $2.50 off each one. I mean, and I buy it in that amount and all my different Krogers in the area. And that's what I do. So yes, I do.
Okay. Well, hold on. So here's the deal. So I want to piggyback off a couple of things. There's a couple of terms. Brooke used the word consumables, replenishables, and Tony used the word steady eddy. So replenishables, we call them steady eddies or consumables. Mm-hmm. We call those things the things I call replenishables, the steady eddies, because of the fact that they can stabilize your income. They can level things off. If you refer to it as, like if you're thinking of a pizza pie, mm-hmm. think of them as the crust. It's the thing that's always there that kind of levels off everything. So then you put toppings on top of it. And so the toppings for us are the things like when it's back to school. So that's going to be a spike. That's going to be some extra toppings. And then Easter is going to be some extra toppings. And Christmas is going to be lots of extra toppings. Mm-hmm. And, Thanksgiving and Halloween and Valentine's Day, like all of those are the toppings. But you'll always have the crust. No matter what, when you're eating pizza, you always have a crust. And so it is it's the baseline that's always there no matter what. And so that's what we call the consumables. Those are things that people buy over, or replenishables, things that people buy over and over and over again. Because if you go to the store, let's say you eat macaroni and cheese. And so when you run out of macaroni and cheese, you need to go back to the store and get some more. We got to get it somehow, whether you order it and have it delivered to your front door, you got to get it. So that's something that people, when it's gone, you got to go get more. When it's out, you got to go get more. And so when Brooke was talking about that, I wanted to just clarify for those people who have not been on that journey and doesn't know what that term is, or what Tony was talking about when she says steady eddies. We call them steady eddies because they stabilize, they steady everything. And so it's something that happens all the time. You have money. You have sales, things that will sell all the time. So that's the reason why I call them steady eddies. Okay, so with that being said, we do have a question. And the question says, do any of you use couponing and rebate apps or apps? I attended a webinar before the end of the year, and they mentioned Swag Bucks and Checkout 51. So the floor is you guys'. If you guys use those. And then Horace, when you are able to be in a background where there's not a lot of noise, just let us know and we'll unmute you. So go ahead, Tony.
All right, Maureen. Those are the 2 least favorite apps of mine. Swag Bucks takes too much effort, and Checkout 51, there's not enough options. My favorite ones, of course, are Ibotta, when the app is not acting ugly, which it has been today. My second favorite is, I don't know, Fetch has become my favorite because I can get gift cards and with these points. And I mean, it's a whole thing. I mean, if you want to private message me later and get my referral links, I'll be more than happy to share them with you. But those are my two favorites. Are those two? I also use Receipt Hog, where I can just take pictures of my receipts and get coins, and I can get either money or Amazon credit. And the bad part is I put my wrong email address, so I'm now having to do Amazon credit, which is fine because I'll use it for bags or whatever. But it's kind of one of those things that's just you have to be consistent with it. And you have to remember to do it. But my favorite two are probably Ibotta and Fetch. What about you guys?
I don't use as many couponing apps. I use Rakuten for
Oh,
rebates.
forgot about them.
I
Forgot about
love
Rakuten.
Rakuten.
Yeah.
For
Love
instance,
Rakuten.
I shop a lot on Keurig.com. If you guys are Keurig fans, the coffee accessories, all that good stuff. They had 10% cash back the other night. I bought a ton of stuff because I was just raking cash back in too. So yeah, I love rebate apps because there's a couple people in my group that are heavy hitters. I call them people that spend, tens of thousands of dollars a month buying, things from like a replen list that I do. And these people tell me about stories of them taking their families on vacations with just their Rakuten cashback they get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah. Cash back on top of that, using your cards that have cash back.
Oh yeah.
In addition to that. So yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I'm gonna go ahead.
I was just going to say this week alone, I saw on because my husband and I are looking at different ways to change our food thing up. And so I got a Groupon for HelloFresh. We did it. It's fine. Did that through Ibotta. So then I look, and I see on Chase that I get 15% back if I do this other one. And then I saw on Rakuten, I got 65% back of what I spent. So I've already got my rebate back from Rakuten. Hadn't even got anything yet. And then I'm going to get 15% back on what I spent from the bank. So pretty much I'm going to get my thing for free. And then I'll probably cancel it afterwards because I don't really like the selection of the second thing. But we'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, I got my payment the other day. I was pretty excited.
Okay.
And
You know what? I do like using Rakuten along with the cashback card. So I do both.
Mhm.
So that way I can definitely get my cash back. Horace, I'm about to unmute you so you can talk and tell us what type of, either cards, apps that you like to use. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, my favorite is called Rev ROI. If you guys have ever heard of that. That one, I think Christopher Grant was involved with the engineering or whatever behind it. Because when you click on that, right away it'll show you what cashback sites are available, what discounted gift cards are available. If you're using a card that's going to earn you travel miles, it'll tell you that. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
It sounds similar in some ways to Price Blink, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Here recently, I don't know, it's a little bit off the subject, but it is about saving money. I went ahead and tried this Seller Bench. Has anyone used that yet?
What?
Seller Bench. For those of you who are listening, and guys, I'm a preacher, so just know this going in. And I love to get into the mind, what's going on in your head. In the beginning, it's like you're kind of skeptical. Does this really work? Then you get to the point where you say, wow, this really works. Then you get to the point where all you see is work, because it really is work. And then you kind of end up working more in the areas that you like and where you're strong. And for many of us, we develop very good sourcing skills. And so that's where we end up. But this is a business, and a lot of other things need to be taken care of. You can outsource that if you want. Or you can do like me and it just doesn't get done half the time. Well, there's a lot of times where you've got stranded inventory. You've got inventory that was lost somehow from wherever you shipped it from to the warehouse. Sometimes inventory gets lost. Things like that need to be taken care of. And this software, Seller Bench, is something that one of my panelists turned me on to. And I was skeptical, and she kept pushing it. And then she finally said that it was free, and that kind of got my ears to stand up. And it's free, But if they recover any of your lost revenue, lost money, then they want a 25% cut of whatever you actually get reimbursed. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So no one has heard of this? Seller bench.
Yeah, he's saying seller bench. You're right. So Maureen was asking, is it seller bench? It's BENCH. So
Yes.
yeah, and I looked it up, so I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking it up now.
so it's a reimbursement.
Yeah. Let me tell you what happened. I onboarded last week. I fully onboarded, I think, Wednesday. And by Friday, they had recovered $184. Matter of fact, this
Nice.
we post a YouTube video every week, every Friday. And this Friday, we talked about it. The one panelist that turned me on, we did it sort of interview style, the way Nicole and I kind of did my master class. It was one of them type deals. But yeah, that's free money. And all of the panelists, each and every one of you know, everything doesn't work perfect on Amazon. Things get lost, right? Reimbursements that are supposed to happen don't always happen. And I'm going to tell you from my quick experience with these people, they know what they're doing. I want you to quantify this. Understand in your mind, they recovered $184 across 19 cases that they filed. Now imagine you filing 19 cases.
It'll take up all your time. It'll take
If
up all
you're
your time.
lucky, if you're lucky to even get them to respond, you know what it's like to try and how quick are they to respond to you? You ain't the only person in their world. So
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we all like to talk about how big Amazon is. That affects how quick they can respond to you. So if you can put somebody else on that, and you know, it's kind of like putting a pit bull on them, let them shake them up, and I'm telling you, for me, when you can recover $184 in 2 days, and now they still, I think I got another 11 cases pending already, and they're strategic. They don't want to file too many because they do it enough. They understand how Amazon works. For example, if you file too many cases with Amazon, then what happens is they will batch all of your cases, and then they'll want to send all those cases to one caseworker, or whatever happens, it can get lost. Better to spread them out, and they know what they're doing. So give them a try. You got nothing to lose because it's free. You pay nothing unless they recover something for you. So,
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah.
Good insight. That's a time saver for those of us like Brooke has got little ones, and
Yeah.
Tony is running everywhere with her adult children and going to therapy. And I got 9,000 things going on. So none of us have the time to spend all of this quality time with Amazon, getting on or getting
Quality
lost
time.
in the shuffle, never getting them to respond to your email responses. None of
There
us
you
have
go.
that. Yeah. We don't have
You
time.
better-
Let somebody else go do it. Yeah.
You better mute me because I got a hook to a trailer. I'm going to be real loud here.
Okay. All right. I'm going to mute you. Okay. All right. So, Brooke, what is one tip that you wish you had heard or learned when you first started doing? I guess you probably started with retail arbitrage and then moved to online, or what was the first thing you moved to when you left Walmart?
Yeah, I started with retail. My story kind of goes back to I watched for a while. My brother told me about it, and then I watched, and I wasn't 100% sold on it. And, I came from a retail background, so I was like, it's how am I going to compete with these big monsters like Walmart and Amazon? And, once you get over your fear and you understand, hey, this can be done, then, yeah, that was the way I started. So I think for me, I wish I would have thought about getting into replenishables faster. That would have been something that could have scaled me quicker. But I started with $185 to buy inventory. So I didn't have a lot of capital out of the gate. And then I just, I always say I wash, I rinse, and I repeat. That's what I did for my first couple of years. So yeah, I wish I would have jumped into replenishables faster just because it would have helped me, just build my business quicker than what I was doing. So yeah, that's probably if I could go back and change things, that and have more capital.
Okay. And so one of you like cashback apps like Rakuten, but is there anything else that you like? Any of the apps that Tony mentioned, or is there another app? Because I think you only mentioned Rakuten. Was there another one?
So Rakuten, obviously, just for cashback. As far as I like to use the extensions more. I mean, obviously, the
Okay.
Amazon Seller app is my favorite, but I love extensions on my browser. So I have a
Okay.
lot of those that break down data for me faster. I love Keepa. Keepa's one of my favorite things. Obviously, it helps me determine what to buy. So yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I would not spend a dime on extra things because I was like, you know what, I don't need this and I don't need this. I can spend very minimal amount of money and focus all my money towards business. And then once I built myself up, I'm like, my gosh, I wish I had spent money on these things out of the gate because it would have saved me so much more time and so much less of a headache. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if I had to pick like a couple things that are huge for me now, it's honestly it's Keepa, it's the Amazon Seller app, which you're going to use if you sell on Amazon, regardless.
Mhm.
And then what's the other? I love Rev Seller. I'm a big Rev Seller, and it's so inexpensive. I mean, it's like what $100 for the year, $120 for the year. So yeah, there are things that I use now that as soon as I click on an item on Amazon, it breaks. I get Keepa, I get Rev Seller, and then I think there's a free Helium 10 app or a thing that pops up that you
Chrome.
can see data as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love those things because it shows it all on one page versus having to have three browsers open. So
Yeah.
yeah, speeds me up.
I love that too. I have a boatload of Chrome extensions as well. So whenever I'm teaching, I never teach I always teach in incognito because of course incognito, it will not launch all of those extensions.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, okay, let me pull up this page. And then it's like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, now
It's
you can finally see the item after all these pop-ups.
yeah. So you're just trying to draw out the conversation until the screen comes back. So that's just why I use I'm always in incognito so my Chrome extensions don't launch. But yeah, Keepa is one that I use as well. So Tony, is there a couple of Chrome extensions that you like
Sorry,
or
I'm just like, uh,
she's
well,
looking up stuff over there.
I'm
Go
looking at
ahead.
stuff. I mean, I'm like taking screenshots, going, okay, I'm gonna do this when I get off when we finish this call. Um, I mean, I've you have to remember this is the first time that I've had any amount of more than an hour to look at anything the last 6 months because during the school year, as Nicole can tell you, I was a ghost half the time. I was like, Nicole would go, Tony, where are you? Tony. I'm like, and it was because of my job was so demanding. That's there another word for it. Um, I do like the Keepa. I'm going to go back and look at that seller thing that y'all were talking about again because I mean there was one that was that the one I think I had it on there for a month, but I couldn't move it. But I did like the rank thing. But then again, I just was going with my gut. I do wish that I had at the time the first 3 to 4 months, and I even say that in every presentation I do. I really wish I understood the value of training because you're only going to be as good as what you pay for. If you don't try to get free stuff all the time, you're only going to get one little tip of it. And once I started paying for my training, and that's when I got to meet Nicole and Norman, may he rip, um, and those kind of things, and understanding rank and all that other things, just some of the inside knowledge, because again, I'm primarily FBA. Um, just understand knowing that and understanding that and realizing that whatever you are spending on training, whatever it is, you're investing in yourself. I mean, you're investing in your business, and that's hard to remember, especially if you're selling on a platform like Amazon, because the first month you really don't make anything because they got the fees, and you're just like, am I ever going to make any money? And then by the second or third 2 week period. I think it was the second time. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at the data. But at first you're like, is this ever going to work? And then you realize it is going to work, and you just got to keep working it. And
You just
it's
have to get better at it.
you have to
You
get
have to
better
get
at it.
better and smarter at it and do better
Yeah,
analysis of the data and the better analysis of research and the the products, and so you eventually get there. But
Mhm.
it's like learning how to ride a bicycle. Like when you first got on the bicycle, like you didn't know how to balance, you couldn't
Right.
figure out how to pedal and hold this wheel and keep the bike straight and keep the bike up, and it was just through repetition of getting better and better. And so that's the same thing
Yeah.
with retail and online arbitrage. Like the more you do it, the better you get at it, the smoother it is. You're
Mhm.
able to actually make it from one end of the block to the other without falling down or running into a tree or a curb. So yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes you're gonna get hit with the curve. I mean, I still remember one of the meetings we were at when I first started that one of the leaders said something about these daggum pumpkin carvers. They were just flying out of her place. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I bought some and I donated them finally after a year and a half because they did not move for me at all. They did not move. I mean, it's just certain people that do well with, it doesn't matter, just I didn't I didn't understand at the time that just because somebody says it works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the other thing I wish I had realized at the time, which now I'm looking back at it and I say it over and over again when we're training people and that kind of stuff. And, they're looking at you go, yeah, right, whatever. And I had the, yeah, right, whatever look. But those are the things I wish I had known. But again, the training, you got to just put in the time. Because if you don't put
Yeah.
in the time, you don't get the results.
Well, so everybody, if you have any questions that are retail arbitrage, online arbitrage related, you can type them in the chat. Even if they're not retail or online arbitrage, we probably could answer them because we've all done a little bit of everything. I think all of us have some experience
Mhm.
with a lot of stuff. So whatever your questions are, type them in the comment section. Hopefully they're going to pop up on my screen, and then we'll be able to answer your questions because that's what we want to do. So Brooke, I'm gonna come back to you for just a second. And I know Horace just got back in the truck, and I know he's still connecting. But so I know that you do replenishables. So how much time were you spending in your business before you started doing replenishables, and then how much time do you feel like it saved you after you finally got good at doing replenishables?
Quite a bit. I was probably spending, and I've always been part time. I haven't been able to take this entirely full time. I'm about to this year, but so probably before I was spending, and again, this was part time. I was spending between trying to find things to buy and then shipments and everything, probably 20 to 30 hours a week. Now I spend, gosh, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. I mean,
Nice.
that's how much of a change. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest things, and I meant to say this a minute ago, but I'm going to add this in now. This is just this is a little tidbit. I teach all my students this, guys. When you buy a replenishable, and this is huge, don't go bonkers and buy 100 of something that you've never sold. Okay. I will tell you this from experience. Well, not really experience because I come from a retail background. So, I know when to go crazy and when not. But, I live by the method of a inch deep and a mile wide. So when you're going to buy something, test it. Buy 4, buy 6, buy 8. My max buy on a first test is usually 12. And I'll send those in. If those 12 sell great. I'll go order 18 or 24 next. And then once I've done that about 4 or 5 times and I'm buying 60, 70, 80 units, that's when I know, well, this is obviously working. That's when I'll go a little bit crazier on it. So that is something, so many people that have came to me and said, man, I got burnt because I went and bought 100 of this. Well, don't do that. Be smart, inch deep, mile wide, buy 6, buy 8, buy 12, test it, make sure it works, and then buy a little bit more. It's kind of like catching a big fish. Once it gets on the hook, you can't reel it in super fast. You got to let it take a little bit. You got to get a little bit more. That's the same thing with a replan. So,
can I add something to that?
Yes.
Sure. A lot of times his advice is so good because there are other things going on. You think, it's fun to kind of go around as if you're the only one doing this. You're being watched. And if you go 100 deep, it could start out very good. until somebody else is that's watching you. I think we call it reverse searching someone's store. People are watching, and if you think you can do it, guess what? People are doing it to you. That's part of the business. Now, there's just so much that could happen with that. So I definitely agree. And you may continue to increase, as you were saying, and then at some point where there was only 2 people, now there's 15 people, but you haven't invested so much that you can't just say, hey, let me break even and get out of this. If you've got the patience and maybe you didn't send the inventory all in, then you can let it wait without having to deal with storage. I mean, there's just so much that you can do. And if there's one more thing before you mute me, because you were kind of going around the panel asking, what is it that we wish we would have known before? One thing that I would say, I wish I would have started using Inventory Lab quicker, because it was a game changer for me. From the way that you list products, from the way that I can keep everything going to one warehouse, that's huge, guys. Having to split up your shipment across 5 warehouses, that cuts. Unless you can keep your weight up, you're going to pay a lot. But the last thing I want to say, and again, I'm kind of more on the philosophy side a lot of the time. At the end of the day, we all have our paths, and we had to go the way that we went in order to be exactly where we are now. So in the end, you may look back in retrospect and say, well, I wish I would have did this, and if only I had known that. You did it the way it needed to be done. There is no other way. You had to run your race. You had to go along your path, and you had to experience what you needed to experience. And you can't compare yourself to anyone else. You just have to know. Everybody on this panel, there's one thing I know about you, and I don't even know everybody very well. Here's what I know. You guys don't quit. You won't quit. And so you're going to get wherever it is you're trying to go. A lot of times we get caught up in, when are we going to get there? That's not really your business. Your business is to keep going, get around people with like minds, continue to learn, and you'll get there. At the end of the day, there is no looking back and saying, I wish I had known this. We do it, but at the end of the day, I wonder if we could agree that each and every one of us has our own path.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so I can get off my soapbox, start this truck up, and go back down the road. Mute me.
I want to say amen. I want to say amen to your sermon. I liked it. It was good. I think Maureen's got another question, Nicole.
Yeah, she does. So she wanted some insight, a better understanding of replenishable. I kind of explained a little bit of it, but Brooke, if you want to take the floor and explain what you believe is a replenishable.
Well, Maureen, so I'll keep this in the most basic form I can tell you. So a replenishable to me and to probably anybody out there is an item that you have to continue using over and over and over again. So think of deodorant, think of macaroni and cheese, think of milk, anything that you have to keep rebuying it and replenishing it in your house. We call these replenishables. We call these consumables. Consumables, back from my retail background, are items like grocery items, health and beauty, pharmaceuticals, things like that you have to continually have in your house because it's something you use. Toothpaste, mouthwash, yada, yada, yada. So that's really the breakdown for me.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
You sure can.
Okay. Another thing about the replenishables and consumables is I have found that if you buy the weird stuff, if you look at signs, it's something that's weird that you would like, ooh, gross. People love it. I don't know why. Pumpkin spice. Tell me that's not true, Horace, because it is. I'm like, pumpkin spice is nasty. Okay?
I love pumpkin spice.
I know you do. And I'm sure that my trainer at CG loves it too. And you know what? I found this. Well, I can't even get around. 99 cents for the Tirani. Yep. It's going to be slow moving, but it's going to go out of there, and that's fine. I think it's kind of nasty. Okay. But, I'm right there. Those Black Forest M&Ms, I tried one. I was like, it's nasty. But you know what? It's got a good rank. I'm good with it. I mean, there's certain, like when I was an early seller, Nicole can tell you the time. Do you remember the time I called you and told you about all the stuff I bought, all the hair products that would not work for me?
Mm-hmm. But you sold them.
I sold them
because some black people was buying them. I understand. I ain't mad at you. So some sisters and brothers was out there buying them. So.
I still buy a lot of darker shaded foundations. I know that little girl the other day at Walgreens was looking at me like,
why are you buying all this? Honey, you are not this dark. Why are you buying black people's foundation? Like, why are you?
I think today she just looked at me and she was just anyway, she was just like, it's fine. But I know, because I had deep, chestnut, all those
dark colors, yeah, mahogany, yeah, that
I have them all.
Yeah, I understand.
But I mean, it's just another, Maureen, just remember, just because you don't look like, whatever you're buying doesn't mean anything. Because if people are gonna buy it. I mean, you gotta
let me just tell you, black women love to get that, make sure their hair is done. I am not, don't use me as the example. I'm the worst example. But every other black woman I know, they love look, I lost all my hair due to COVID, so we just gonna leave it alone.
I asked you about black radiance the other day, and you and Renata ignored me.
Look, I don't know, I don't remember that, but I do want to add something. Back to the replenish post for just a second. The other thing I think that a lot of people walk away from or don't pay attention to is those items that are for specialty diets.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of money to be made in those, because sometimes those people that are on specialty diets, they may be homebound, so they're buying the item more frequently than you realize, or they may have a certain situation. So especially during the holidays, those things that people might buy that are gluten-free or sugar-free, or more protein in them. Those types of things are going to sell like crazy, especially during those holidays where there's a massive amount of cooking, because of the fact that particular audience, those people that need it or want it, or maybe they're following a trend or whatever, they're looking for those items. So those are also great consumables. My favorite store to go get stuff from, of course, is Trader Joe's and Aldi's, because they always have a lot of great things. And then I also love Big Lots, because people Big Lots has food and most people don't realize it. So you can go and test some things that you wouldn't find in some other stores from Big Lots. It's a closeout store. So they're getting something that maybe was on the shelf. Nobody bought it, so they sent it to close out. And so these guys are, it's in this store now. And so check the expiration date. So that's just put that out there in the universe. Okay.
Let me add something. I had to pull over just to run my mouth.
You laughed when you saw somebody as pale as me buying mahogany. You just the whole of it. You were just like, oh my! And we don't even gonna let Nicole will tell you later what I told her and Renata one day that I was discriminated against.
But no, Tony was saying something about things that you think is things that are weird are definitely good replens. For the longest time, I was able to get this cereal. Get this, it was Sour Patch cereal. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And I could not keep it in stock. I mean, I don't care how tight the expiration dates were, people would just buy it. And another thing, I kind of wanted to piggyback on the replens thing. And I sort of mentioned it a little bit. I touched on it in my masterclass with Nicole. A big thing with replenishables is it can be, if you are willing to open up your eyes and take advantage. Every one of us lives in a very unique geographic region, and we take that for granted because we kind of live in our own little microcosm and we're not thinking. Guys, you got to be thinking. We're in the 21st century. The average American will stay in one place for maybe 3 years, and he could be across the country. And guess what? He wants what he wants. A lot of times replenishables are good when it comes to grocery, because you don't have to convince a guy that he wants, to eat. Yeah, cheese puffs or whatever. But which cheese puffs? Maybe he wants the ones that he grew up with, and he doesn't have to just settle for what he's got now. I'll give you an example. I'm from the Midwest. There's a syrup a syrup for pancakes. I can't get it anywhere where I've lived. I've lived in New Jersey. I've lived, now I'm in Pennsylvania. I can't get it, but I can get it online, and I will pay whatever I need to pay to have that taste of home. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. If you can get the weird things, if you can get things that you realize only you have, there are certain things that only you can get. When you open up your eyes, you'll see that your region has something unique. You know, I went into the grocery store today, and I got there right when they opened, and I finally found the guy who stocks this certain brand of potato chips, because I do a lot in snack foods. I'd love to get into that one day, because that's a whole a whole, you can talk grocery and gourmet, but when you really niche it down to snack foods, that's, I could talk about it forever. And there's so many different nuances and things that you could do with it. But you talk about replens. Sometimes we can do a hybrid of both retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, as well as wholesale. You walk into a store and you happen to see somebody stocking. I did this with Frito-Lay. I walked into Walmart. There was a guy stocking the Frito-Lay shelves, and I'm like, okay, how do I get an account? He pulled his handheld out of his pocket and talked live, like walkie-talkie two-way, to his boss, got me a number, a contact, and I was able to get a Frito-Lay account. So don't be afraid to walk up to somebody that's stocking shelves. Now, of course, Frito-Lay, that's not unique, that's national, but still, you may find a guy like I did this morning stocking a brand that's only available in my area. And this brand does not ship across state lines. My point is this: keep your eyes open. There are things that only you have access to. And when it comes to replens, that's what's gonna be the pie crust that we're talking about. You know, how deep can that crust be when you get into items that are unique to your geographical area? And they're there. You just got to be thinking about that. Okay. All
right. So Maureen, that was good. Thank you. So Maureen has another question. So are these the things that are offered on a subscription basis on Amazon? So sometimes, I mean, I think that's probably two-part. I know that there are subscription offers on Amazon, like you can get subscriptions for refilling your supplements. Like, okay, so sometimes they are, and sometimes they're just onesie twosie selling, and it's not a subscription. So they, it can be a variety of different things. And so, when I'm looking at consumables and replens, like I think about food, I definitely do, but I also think about everything else. I think about supplements. I think about, the things that you find in your bathroom, the things that you find in your kitchen cabinet for spices and seasonings and stuff like that. So if you don't want to get deep into food, you can, go the outer perimeter and do the seasonings and the spices and the sauces. There's soap and, there's all kinds of things that you can get into that people are going to be buying over and over again. So,
I mean, the one thing I like about the cosmetics, I'll be quite honest, is the fact the health and beauty, especially the smaller items, is it doesn't cost much to send it. I mean, you could send 75 items in one box to Amazon, and it costs not a lot. Whereas if you did 75 items of something a lot larger, it's going to cost you more. So, I mean, you got to be strategic about that as well. It's looking at the cost of mailing, cost of, the dunnage, all that. I mean, and that's another thing. When I'm outsourcing, I'm also sourcing for boxes too. So I'm looking for those empty boxes that they put those sacks in the morning. And I'll look at them and go, hey, can I have that box? Sure, you can have that box. Thank you. And I'm like, yes. Because that's, think about it. That's $1, whatever, $1.67, $2 for each box that you're not having to pay for.
That's true.
And that belts my bottom line.
Well, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. If you guys have one last question, please type it in the comments. So I am going to yield the floor to Mr. Brook. And if there was one thing that you would like to close us out with, that you think that people that are either interested in doing retail or online arbitrage, or that are currently doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, that you think one thing that might help them in 2022, just say what that one thing is that you think might help them in 2022. As here we go. Horace is mixing up his salad. I think that's a
Is it
salad.
salad or is protein shake?
I think it's a salad. I ain't
It's
mad at
salad.
you. I ain't mad at you. Anyway, go ahead, Brooke.
You know, I'll leave you with this, and this is just this is also something that I teach, and it is when you go into a store or you sit down to do your sourcing, you're looking for items, whether it be online or in the store physically. Make sure you're strategic, and what I mean by that is I've had so many students message me and be like, I spent 8 hours in a store today and I didn't find anything. Be strategic about what you're going to find. And what I mean by that, I know Tony's shaking her head because she finds everything.
I do not know. Y'all are hating. Y'all are hating on
Go
me.
ahead.
But what I mean by this is say you found 5 or 6 items that are replenishables for you and you're going to go into the store to buy them. When you go to the store, have a plan. When you step into that building, go get those 5 to 6 items first, clear the shelf, or if you've ordered from a department manager, go meet with them, get your items, and then be strategic about what you do next. If you want to source for an hour, 30 minutes, then go to a department you want to source in, like health and beauty, like Tony's talking about, and spend 30 minutes in an 8-foot section and scan every item in that 8-foot section. But be strategic, set a timer, and when that timer goes off, stop. Because guess what? If you don't, you're going to do it for 30 more minutes. And then all of a sudden, text from Tony's husband that's like, where are you at? Is everything okay? And that's what happens to all of us. And that's how you get your hours way up. And you're losing money when you're stuck in stores and you're not finding things and you're doing circles. So be strategic. Go get what you were looking for. Spend some time trying to find new merchandise. And then get out of there and go home and work on a shipment or go spend time with your family. But do whatever you need to do to have your head in the right place and to have your business moving up and not sideways. Okay?
That was a great tip. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to let Horace have the floor because I think he has to drive again in addition to shaking up his salad. So, Horace, you want to unmute yourself real quick and tell us one tip that you would tell, just one that you would tell people to consider for 2022 that are either already doing retail or online arbitrage or thinking about getting into retail or online arbitrage. Either one of the two. One tip for 2022.
As usual, I'm thinking, philosophy. And the biggest tip I can give is to just keep going. A lot of times, like Brooke was saying, he may have a student saying, oh, I spent 8 hours and I didn't get anything. Yeah, well, that's part of your journey. You're going to learn that way. You have to just keep going and just know that eventually you're going to get better. And understand, this is not a sprint. I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch with Lamborghinis and mansions and, yachts and all of this. That's not what it is. Can you get those things? Of course. But is it going to take time? Absolutely. This is not a sprint, guys. This is a marathon. So the one thing I want to leave you with, if you're going to do this business and any other, you're going to have to invest the time. There are no panelists out here that are going to tell you tonight, oh, I started and I was rich in a month. This is life. Just because you decide to sell on Amazon, that doesn't mean you no longer have to deal with the rigors of life. Okay, guys, this is very important. I'll shut up in a minute, but you got to remember, life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you deserve. And if you're not willing to put the time and invest in yourself, then you don't deserve all those Lamborghinis and stuff you're dreaming about. Put the work in. Accept, welcome the challenges. That's what differentiates you from average people.
All right. Because with the time investment, you'll actually learn as well. Hopefully you're long. Hopefully you will. All right. So Tony, what is the one
Can
thing
I add something to his real quick, Nicole?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just because I told you guys I came from a retail background. So, I worked in one state for like 5 or 6 years before I moved on to another state. And when I moved on to the next state that I was a part of, as far as my growth as a manager in Walmart, I worked at a little store in a town called Franklin, Ohio, just south of Dayton. And to this day, this is 10 years ago, the store manager that I worked for is still a friend of mine, and he taught me more in the 10 months that I spent at his store than I ever learned in the entire 10 years that I spent. And I'll tell you, it all comes down to what Horace just talked about, and that's investing in yourself. And he invested in me, and that's what made me what I was. And, one quick story. One day we were walking the store. I'd been there for like 3 weeks, and we walked into the infant department where they do all the clothes and the diapers for babies and all that stuff. And we walked in, and he said, I want you to sit down. You know where the fixtures are, where they have all the cribs and the car seats and everything? He said, we're both going to sit down. And we sit there, and he said, I just want you to look around. And we looked around for like 3 to 5 minutes. And he's like, I don't want to hear you say anything. I just want you to look around. And when we got done, he said, tell me what you saw. And I went through, and I started telling him all the things that I saw wrong. And he's like, I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw this. And he said, okay. He goes, let me tell you what I saw. I saw a department manager on her hands and knees over there busting her butt, doing what she can do to make her department look better. I saw this person over here working on a modular because she asked this person to set this for this person. So the things that I was pointing out as things that were wrong, which I was right, he was pointing out the things that the people were doing that he invested into to make that department better. And because of that, when I run my business on a daily basis, I don't always look for things that are wrong now. I look for ways to invest into that, whether it be buying more merchandise, whether it be investing into a program, whether it be, going out and spending 5 minutes cleaning up something in my garage. I look at ways to better my business and to better myself. And, it's completely true what Tony's saying and what Horace is saying. Guys, if you don't invest in yourself, your business will go nowhere. And that's honestly where my background came from learning things like that. And I just felt like I needed to say that because yes, I'm strategic with my time, but yes, I also want to make sure I grow. So, there's no wrong answers here. It's just the experiences that we've seen. So,
absolutely.
I love it. It is your responsibility.
It is.
It is. It's part of the journey.
And to you, Tony. Sorry.
That's okay. I can't add to any of that. I'm just gonna say it. Okay. I mean, those are y'all. No, I'm just going to say, what they said.
All right. Well, I'm sure Tony will think of something later, but that's okay because she always has she always has great quotes and sayings that keep me and Renata in stitches, but they're always so genuine and honest. I mean, she really genuine and honest. I don't know how long she's been in Texas, but I feel like Tony is Texas. Okay, to me.
By the way, that is something good to say. Is anything Texas A&M or Texas, the state of Texas flag? I'm just saying.
Okay. But anyway, so one tidbit that I would say, I mean, everything that both Horace and Brooke and Tony said are true. One thing that I would just recommend for 2022 when you're being strategic about what you're about to do, if you're doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, what I try to teach people is to dedicate on pick one day out of the week. I don't care which day it is. Maybe it's Sunday, and decide that you're going to be intentional on that Sunday. And that you can be intentional for 30 minutes or you can be intentional for an hour. Whatever has been yielding you the best return or the most money, I want you to level up on that one activity, whatever that is. So if running your software, if you're using software to do your online product research is making you more money, then I want you to level up on that for an extra 15 to 30 minutes and be intentional about it. Set that time so that way you can focus on that. One of the things that Renata and I, when we were teaching people, we tell them before you go to the store, know what you're going to the store, map out your route on which stores so that you can be strategic about the amount of time that you spend in the commute. Instead of doing what I refer to as the zigzag or the W, why don't you make a path or a route that will get you back to your destination so you're not feeling like you spent 10 hours out on the road, and you probably could collapse that down to maybe 6 hours or something like that. So be strategic about what you do before you go out. If you're doing retail or online arbitrage, be strategic about doing the research about what you're going to map out, which stores you're going to visit this week, which stores are you going to, which days are you going to visit those stores, because Brooke already gave you a golden nugget. You should probably put on your schedule to do some retail arbitrage and online arbitrage on a Monday and or Tuesday. Hint, hint, hint. Okay. Um, so he's already told you that. So you need to figure out what you need, what adjustments you need to make in your schedule so that you can make that part of your routine. So sit down on Sunday, map out the rest of your week, map out which stores you're going to hit, map out when you're going to do your listings, when you're going to do your shipments, map out when Renata gets ready to go to a store, she already knows what she's going into that store to get. So if you're running software, know exactly what you're going into that store to get, and then go get that. If you have extra time, if you allotted 30 minutes for that or an hour for that, and you got it done in 15 minutes by grabbing those things and filling up your cart, then take that extra 30 minutes for the secondary department that you thought you were going to hit, and then take that extra time to hit that third department. So you need to be intentional with everything that you're doing in your business so that you do have the opportunity to level it up. If you're intentional with your time and you're intentional with your money, you will actually be able to level up in 2022. So be strategic about how you are going to do your retail arbitrage. What's your map? What's your route? Which stores you're going to hit? Which day you're going to hit them? What are you going to get at those stores? And then once you already know what you're going to get in those stores, whatever time you had allotted, whether it's an hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes, whatever extra time you have, know where you're going next physically in the store. And the same thing with your online. So again, if you're using software, be strategic about what you're about to do. What am I going to look at? Because I personally think 3 months in advance or potentially 6 months in advance. So I know that in 3 months from now, like we're going to be going into the summer. So if I'm going to using some software, I might do some strategic research around things that people will be buying for the summer, or things that people will be buying for, graduations, things that people will be start preparing for back to school, ironically, things like that. So I'm going to be strategic about some of my online arbitrage so that I know what I need to be sourcing for, not just for right now, but also what's coming in the next 3 months. You know when pumpkin spice is going to be on the shelves.
Plan ahead, baby. Plan ahead.
Plan ahead, yes.
If you're not buying Easter right now, you're already behind the game. I can tell you.
You're already behind. Yes.
My Easter's already bought. It just has to come down from the attic. Because I bought my Easter last year.
Hey, don't forget, there's a new flavor of M&Ms, Tony. I know you love your M&Ms.
Which one? Which one is it?
Oh, there's always a new flavor. There's always a new flavor.
I know that.
All right. Well, I am glad. I want to thank Brooke, and I want to thank Horace, and I especially want to thank Tony, because I know Tony wants to spend some time with her daughter today, so I feel guilty about this. So now I'm gonna have to take Tony out to lunch. But anyway, I thank you all.
You don't have to take me out to lunch. Michelle was being Michelle. She already got her birthday as a national holiday this year.
Today was her daughter's birthday, guys. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. She is a mess. That's all I have to say.
So we hope that you all got some value. Please type in the comments whether or not you got value on this session. If there was a golden nugget that you felt like we revealed to you or we shared with you. If there are still questions that you have, please type those, and we'd be happy to come back and answer those questions throughout the week. And we're glad that you're part of the summit. We appreciate you. If you haven't grabbed the All Access Pass, go ahead and consider upgrading to the All Access Pass, because there's a lot of awesome bonuses that are being given away. Brooke is giving away an awesome bonus. So is Mr. Horace, and then Tony's got some awesome bonuses as well. So upgrade to the All Access Pass, and that way you'll have this in the back of your head and go execute some of the things. The one golden nugget, whatever golden nugget you got tonight, go write down what it was and figure out the plan on how you're going to incorporate it into your business over the next 2 weeks. Be intentional. Figure out how you're going to incorporate it into your business over the next 2 weeks. All right. With that being said, we are going to say goodbye for now.
Nacho.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Bye.